Okay, welcome. Moving on with the series, we are going to be looking at Antique Hunter today. If you were a school kid like me and had a curfew and wasn't able to obtain Artifact Hunter during that time, I think 10 years ago, well, tough luck, because you're going to have to be paying 2,000 adventure coins to get the reskin class called Antique Hunter. And kind of sucks, because a free class that was obtainable is now 2,000 ACs. This game definitely capitalizes on rare items, that's all I'll say. For your enhancements, go full luck. However, if you have Aura Forge unlocked, then here are some choices for you to choose from. This class is a full hybrid that uses the Mage Mana Regeneration model. Alright, so in terms of your passives, your first one increases your strength and intellect by 20%. And your second rank 4 passive increases your dodge, crit, and hit chance by 5%. And your rank 10 passive increases your haste by 15%. Okay, time for the skills. Your auto attack is a basic strike to one target. The only difference is that you actually deal 110% weapon damage instead of the normal 100%, so that's pretty good. So your second skill is called Strike of Awe. You basically hit one enemy and you have a 25% chance of leaving them stunned for 2 seconds. So the other 75% of the time you hit the skill, it's just going to be another attack. Moving on, your third skill is called Supreme Arcane Spell. This also hits one target, and it applies a damage over time to them. Something that I just realized is that this skill always crits and cannot miss. Another little thing I want to point out is that the third skill, Supreme Arcane Spell, it's magical, so your damage over time is based on your spell power. However, your second skill, Strike of Awe, it's physical, so that's based on your physical power. So just letting you know that. Now your fourth skill, Shiny Mirror Shield, and in my opinion the most important skill of the class, is a status skill that you apply to yourself, and this basically gives you 80% damage resistance for 6 seconds. So you're basically at the hard cap for damage resistance, and it basically reflects the damage back at the opponent. But the thing to note is that they still take the full damage that they would hit to you without your damage resistance applied. So for example, if they were to hit 100, you gain 80% damage resistance, you only take 20 damage, but you still reflect 100 damage back at them. So that's basically what I wanted to say. Now, some of you may have already made the connection with Antique Hunter's fourth skill with Pyromancer's fourth skill, which is Burning Ward. Now, they're both similar. They both last for 6 seconds, but the main difference is Burning Ward gives you 50% damage resistance. Antique Hunter's fourth skill gives you 80% damage resistance. So Antique Hunter gives you 30% more damage resistance. However, Pyromancer also has a guaranteed crit heal. So you also have to take that into account. And also, Antique Hunter can only reflect a maximum of 1,000 damage. That is the cap. It can only reflect 1,000 damage back at the enemy. So if an enemy does like 1,100 or something, it's only going to reflect 1,000 damage back at them. However, with Pyromancer, if Scorch is applied to the enemy, they can actually reflect a hard cap of 2,000 damage back at the enemy. So, preferences are there, but personally, I would say I would just prefer Pyromancer's Burning Ward, but Antique Hunter's 4th skill is still very, very good. Finally, your 5th skill is called Doom or Destiny. This is where the RNG is, by the way. And you basically have a 50% chance of either applying Doom or Destiny onto yourself. Now, if you apply Doom, you basically increase your damage all out by 40%, your strength by 30%, and your crit chance by 15% for 6 seconds. However, if you apply Destiny onto yourself, then you gain a massive heal over time. You increase your intellect by 30% and your haste by 15% for 6 seconds. So yeah, this class does have a heal. However, it's RNG. You're not going to get it every single time. And you may be looking at the numbers and thinking, wow, these are actually pretty high. Very powerful buffs. Why is that? And the answer is because it's RNG. I guarantee you, if you were able to apply Doom or Destiny both at the same time, the numbers wouldn't be that high. Alright, so time for soloing. I would just go 5-4-3-2 and spam. Not much to think about with this class. The only thing that might be a bit contradicting would be your 2nd and 4th skill. Because if the monster isn't immune to stuns, and you actually end up stunning the opponent, then they won't be able to hit you, and you won't be able to reflect damage back at them. So that's the main thing, but I guess that's why they made it only 25% chance. But still, I think they could kind of like buff that skill, you know? It's kind of not the best. But yeah, otherwise in terms of soloing, this class is definitely not bad. Despite it having RNG on its 5th skill, it's only 50%, so yeah, it can survive, it can tank, and it can deal damage. What more is there to it? Yeah, this class becomes pretty powerful with Forge. As you've noticed, I'm just using, you know, base Forge Helm, because your 2nd and 3rd skill are like magical and physical separate each, and your 5th skill is actually hybrid. So I would actually just go I would just go luck or forge for your helm, just to be on the safer side. You can go, you know, Anima or Vim to maximize on Dauntless for your 2nd skill, or you can even go Namuna for your 3rd skill for an increased dot damage. It's up to you. That's the thing with full hybrids. You can actually mix and match with a bunch of enhancements. But I just wanted to go Forge just to get a bit of everything. And yeah, this class is definitely a good soloer. For farming, you know what? I'm actually intrigued. Let's just do it for shits and giggles on how it is for farming with, you know, base enhancements. Yeah, this would be a no. I'll tell you what, I still wouldn't use this for farming. However, it's definitely not the worst single target farming class out there. Yeah, this class can't really support except for a 25% chance to stun the target. And most boss monsters are immune to stun, so yeah, don't use it for supporting. For your defense, it's really good. Being able to max out your damage resistance with the press of a button is really good, and being able to reflect that damage back at the enemy is also really good. Now, your heal is RNG though, and even though it's 50%, you might get very unlucky and just get Doom and not be able to heal. So that is a possibility. However, the heal over time, if you do manage to get Destiny, it's very, very powerful, which would basically allow you to go from like 500 health all the way to almost full. So yeah, this class definitely has very nice defense. With all that being said though, increasing your damage resistance is one thing. Being able to reduce your opponent's outgoing damage is another. So don't take this class to one-shot bosses, otherwise you will get screwed over. Alright, so final thoughts on Antique Hunter. Don't support with this class. It's not the worst farming, so you can use it if you want to, but I still wouldn't recommend it. And it's a very good boss soloing class. However, don't use it on anything that hits too hard. But the main thing here is the 2000 adventure coin price tag. And in my opinion, it is not worth the 2k ACs. So I do not recommend you get it unless you are a class collector, have spare ACs, and are just rich in general. Or you just happen to get it as a bonus for like one of those recent Black Friday 10k chests. Was Artifact Hunter the farmable version of it last decade? Was it worth it? Absolutely. But having a class that was actually farmable and obtainable for free, which now needs ACs to pay for, is not worth it in my opinion. But that's a class overview. Thanks for watching and see ya.